Welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can install dynamic portal in Vicidial. So as you can see, I have a freshly installed Vicidial over here. I just installed it yesterday. Let me show you. If I go to the system setting, as you can see, it was installed yesterday. Today is 29. So this is a fresh install. So I'm going to configure the dynamic portal in this VC dial. So first of all, let me show you. As you can see, if I open the dialer IP, it's strictly opening. So to install the dynamic portal, we have to log into the SSH. So we just copy this IP over here. You can use putty if you like. This one if you want to use, you can use this one, but I don't like it, so I will use the default SSH root, then the system IP. Hit enter. It will ask you to store the MAC address. Hit enter, then the password. Okay, we are in. As you can see, we are inside the VC dial now. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to check that VCVox already has the dynamic portal services installed. So to check that, we can do one thing. We can copy this Zypher ref. You don't have to worry. I'm going to give you the link of my blog in the description so you can follow all the commands. So I'm going to use the Zypher ref first. So it will refresh the Zypher repositories. So yeah, let's see. Okay, it's saying that respiratory open source leave 15.3 VCDAL is up to date because I installed it yesterday only. But if you have a old installed VCDAL, you can refresh the repository file. Then you can do the Zyper up because I have already updated all the repository, so I'm not going to do that. Next thing we are going to do is we are restarting the firewall D services. So for restart that, you can select service firewall D restart. If you hit enter, it will restart this particular services. So as you can see, it's done. Let me clear this. Okay, so this thing is done. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the port for HTTP and HTTPS. So to do that, you can select this particular thing. So what is this thing doing is, it's saying firewall CMD permanent, add a port 446 TCP zone public. So this thing adding the port 446 TCP protocol in public zone. Okay, it's saying the firewall to store and open this particular port on public zone. Okay, if you hit enter, it will say success. So as you can say, it's successfully added. Now we are going to do the HTTP port because we are not going to use SSL in this video. So if you hit enter, you can see it's perfectly added. Okay, now we are going to reload these firewall D services. So all this setting we have did just now, it can be saved. So just firewall CMD reload and it's success. After that, sorry for that. After that, what we have to do, we have to go to this particular path. So we are going to the nano, we are going to the nano text editor, then srv www vios dynamic portal, then type inc, then default inc php. We are going to open this file. So just hit enter. Oh, let me open it again. Okay, as you can see, this is the dynamic portal configuration page. So we are going to change this one. Okay, so this is the user level. If you set this one 1, then all the agent who have one permission can access the Vicidial. If you make it 5, you can see minimum required Vicidial user level to enable the dynamic port authentication. If you made it 5, all the agent will be not able to access the dynamic portal. Only admin can do that, or who have permission above 5. So you can change it. I'm going to leave it because I don't have any agent ID at the moment. So this is the redirection link which we have to change it. So you can just copy this particular line, then open a notepad. As I mentioned, we are not going to use HTTPS, so just delete that and put the server IP over here. If you are using any FQDN like www.xyz.com, you can put it over here. So I'm using the local IP, so I'm going to use this. Then we are going to delete this particular X. Okay, and then paste this like this. Okay, this is done. Now if you come down, you can see we have to change the admin redirection link too. So just delete this, and we're going to put the server IP over here. Okay, it's done. After that, this particular option is saying how much time it will take to redirect after authentication. So default it's 60. You can change it. Let's say I'm going to do it 2 seconds. Okay, then we are going to change this to 1. It will simply enable and submit the local IP set changes directly in the additional inserting into the database. Only work for the local server, and this is the path where the details are going to be saved. So this is done. Then we are going to save it by pressing Ctrl X, then Y, and it's done. Next step is we are going to configure the firewall now. So just firewall. Okay, if you open this particular service firewall, then we have to configure. As you can see, the interface is on default zone, so we are going to change it. You can change it to zone. If you scroll it down, you can see the option called public. Okay, okay, now if you come over here, you can. Okay, so we are going to change the zone. So if you scroll down, you can see it's going to be public, then okay, the default zone is now public. Now if you scroll down over here on the public, we have to allocate which services we want on the public zone. So let me give you a quick tour about the zones also, so you have a basic idea. So public zone is basically the zone that Vicidial don't trust, and you are allowing those services that you wanted to be available on the public. On the other on the trusted zone, if you put anything, Vicidial will trust those and will not block anything on that particular zone. So we are on the public at the moment, so these services are already allowed in this zone. As you can see, this is the allowed zone and these services are allowed, so we don't need that on the public. So we are going to remove this. We are only going to keep the RTP. Make sure you have the access. If anything goes wrong, then you can change it back, then only select SSH. If you don't have that access, that if anything happen you can make it revert, so don't do it now, you can do it later. But I have the physical server access with me, so I'm going to select it. Then we are going to remove this and keep only the RTP over here. After that, we are going to the trusted zone. So hit enter. Now we are going to add the services that we wanted to allow on the trusted zone. So we are going to Apache 2 SSL for the HTTPS, then asterisk, and we are going to allow one more services over here, RTP, so that our media IP, media voice can be, and RTP, so our media is allowed and add. So these four services are going to be on trusted zone. This is what I basically do. So I'm using it for quite a time now. Never face any issue. So let's going to accept. Now the firewall is writing all the setting that we have mentioned, and it will going to reload once. Okay, it's done. Now after that, what we are going to do, we are going to the Cron tab to make some changes over here. Okay, make sure you disable these two default firewall VV firewall setting. So just put a hash before the command, so it will not going to execute. And we are going to add this. So what this basically will do, it will maintain the security of your dynamic portal. You will use, as you can see, it's mentioned, I have already mentioned this in this blog, you can check this also. I'm going to copy this and paste it. So it will check every 10 seconds and refresh the dynamic portal VB firewall list. So just save it, and yes, okay, everything should be working now. So as you can see, when I was putting this IP, it was directly landing the server. Now let me do it. Okay, so as you can see, this is not opening now, it's still loading, or you can say it's buffering. So what we have to do to access the server, we have to type 81, because we are using HTTP not HTTPS, then p dot hp. This is the valid.php file that going to use in dynamic portal. If you hit enter, you can see we have successfully installed the dynamic portal. It's saying VCVox, the official Vicidial distribution agent validation. So we can put the admin ID, because as I mentioned, I haven't created any admin ID yet. If I press enter, it's showing login validated for this particular IP, and it's just redirected to this link. Now if I copy and paste the link, it will directly redirect because my IP is authenticated. So this is how you can install the dynamic portal, and let me show you how you can enable the agent access also. As you can see, I have a admin user only by default. Let me create a agent user, so I'm going to name it 1001, and the user level permission will be by default 1. So hit enter. Now we are going to access that particular file again. So srv www vhost dynamic portal c and default. Okay, remember about this one I have mentioned previously. So this is what we have to change so that our user who have one permission can access it. So I'm going to mention one, then hit enter. Okay, now if we use the dynamic portal, it's going to work. I can't log in the dynamic portal again because I just recently whitelisted my IP. I'm going to show you though. See, it not going to open. The reason is the Vicidial already stored this system IP, so it's not going to open. But if you do that I just show you, this particular one, then your agent can also access the dynamic portal. So if you find this tutorial any helpful, kindly like and subscribe, and I will see you to the next tutorial. Thank you.